If you feel like a ghost of the person you used to be, please know that it isn't because you are weak or broken. It is because you survived a psychological storm that was designed to dismantle your sense of self. You are likely exhausted, sitting in the quiet aftermath of a relationship or an environment that took everything and gave nothing back but confusion. The fog you are feeling right now is not your permanent state. It is a protective layer, but it is one we are going to gently peel away. This is not just about getting over someone or moving on from a bad situation. This is about the reset. It is the conscious, step-by-step reclamation of the life that was stolen from you, and it begins the moment you decide that your story does not end with what they did to you. The first step in your reset is the radical acceptance of the reality of what happened. This is often the hardest part because your brain has spent months or years trying to rationalize the irrational. You have likely been told you were too sensitive, that you remembered things wrong, or that you were the one causing the problems. Accepting the reality means looking at the evidence of your own pain and finally believing yourself. You have to stop waiting for them to admit what they did. They will likely never give you that closure, and waiting for it only keeps you tethered to their narrative. When you accept that the abuse was real, you stop fighting the past and you start fighting for your future. Once you have grounded yourself in the truth, the second step is to establish a perimeter of safety through absolute non-negotiable boundaries. In the wake of abuse, your internal compass for safety is often shattered. You might feel a frantic need to check their social media, respond to one last message, or explain your side of the story one more time. You must realize that every time you engage, you are handing them the remote control to your nervous system. Setting a boundary is not about being mean or punishing them. It is an act of self-preservation. It is about creating a vacuum where their voice can no longer reach you, allowing your own voice the space to finally be heard. With the perimeter established, the third step is the intentional stabilization of your nervous system. Abuse keeps you in a state of high alert, a constant loop of fight, flight, or freeze. You might find that you can't sleep, or that you startle at small noises, or that your mind won't stop racing. This is your body trying to protect you from a threat that is no longer there. You cannot think your way out of trauma. You have to settle your way out of it. This means prioritizing rest without guilt, movement that feels safe to you, and the simple, repetitive acts of daily living. You are teaching your body, second by second, that the war is over and it is finally safe to come down from the watchtower. The fourth step is the deconstruction of the inner critic that was installed by the person who hurt you. One of the most insidious parts of abuse is that the abuser's voice eventually becomes your own internal monologue. You start to doubt your intelligence, your appearance, and your worthiness because that is what was mirrored back to you for so long. You have to begin the slow process of identifying these thoughts as foreign objects. When you hear a voice in your head saying you are incapable or that you are unlovable, remind yourself that this is not your voice. It is a script you were forced to memorize. Reclaiming your mind requires you to intentionally replace those lies with the simple, objective truth of who you are when no one is there to criticize you. The fifth step is the grieving of the version of yourself you thought you had to be to survive. You may look back and feel shame for the way you acted, the things you tolerated, or the way you shrank yourself to keep the peace. You need to forgive that version of yourself. She or he was a hero who did whatever was necessary to get you through to this moment. But now you don't have to be a survivor anymore. You can begin to be a person again. Grieve the time you lost and the person you were, but don't stay in that grief. Use it as fuel to honor the person you are becoming now, a person who no longer has to hide or apologize for existing. The sixth step is the slow rediscovery of your own preferences and agency. After abuse, people often find they don't even know what they like anymore because their entire lives were centered around the needs and moods of someone else. Start small. Choose what you want to eat, what color you want to wear, or how you want to spend a Saturday morning, and do it without asking for permission or wondering how someone else would react. These small choices are the building blocks of your new identity. You are learning how to trust your own instincts again, and every small decision you make for yourself is a victory against the control you used to live under. The seventh and final step of the reset is the cultivation of a future-oriented purpose. Recovery isn't just about not being in pain. It's about building a life that you are actually excited to live. This doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't have to be a grand, world-changing mission. It is about finding what brings you a sense of peace, curiosity, or joy and following that thread. When you start looking forward instead of over your shoulder, the power that the past held over you begins to evaporate. You aren't just surviving anymore. You are designing a life on your own terms, built on a foundation of self-respect that no one can ever take from you again. You have walked a very long and difficult road to get to this point, and I want you to know that you don't have to walk the rest of it alone. This process of rebuilding takes time, and there will be days when the progress feels slow, but every step forward is a step toward the person you were always meant to be. If you found comfort or clarity in these words, I invite you to subscribe and stay connected with this community. We are here to provide the ongoing guidance and support you need as you continue your journey of healing and reclaiming your strength. You have already done the hardest part by surviving. Now, let's focus on the beautiful part, which is learning how to truly live again.